Welcome, everyone, to the Sonoma Spiel. My name is Tim Zahner with the Sonoma Valley Visitors Bureau, and we're here with all sorts of amazing things in Sonoma. Today, I saw a bunch of fourth graders on the plaza. They're back, the whole fidget of fourth graders. That's what we call them, our flock. They were here doing a mission trip, and I went to the farmer's market, and everything is beautiful today in Sonoma. But folks, Today I've got a very special guest, and this time, I know I say every time I've got a very special guest. This week, I actually mean it. This is the most special guest I've ever had, ever. And I want to introduce you to Jenne Wicht with JAK W. Jenne, how you doing?
I'm so good. Thank you so much for having me. I am really excited and
good.
very flattered at that introduction, so thank you.
Oh, the very best ever. And I've never said that before.
Ever, I'm sure.
Except for the 33 other episodes.
Yes, exactly.
But everyone's very special.
I'm just going to pretend that was just for me.
It is, absolutely.
Thank you.
Jenne, you are with JAK W.
Yes.
But sometimes I call it JAK W.
Yep.
It's JAKW. Jenne, what is that?
So JAK W is an acronym for my name. So
Got it.
My maiden name is Kirscher. So
Okay.
my middle name is Ann. So Jenne Ann Kirscher Wicht.
Got it.
Yeah.
Wait, did I just guess your password now? Is it like for...
Oh, you know what? My password is obvious, but it's not that obvious. Yeah.
This is my password, 001. All right, you're with JAK W, and that is my understanding like an interior design and retail service store thing.
Yes, a bit. We are, so the basis of our business is sustainable design.
Okay.
So we offer design services. We work with corporate interiors. We have Google as a client, so they're very sustainably minded. We have a great restaurant project that we're working with, also sustainable.
Okay.
It's a new restaurant in the Presidio called Dalida that's opening this summer.
Dalida?
Dalida.
Dalida.
Yeah.
Not like Dolly the painter.
No, it's actually named after the founder's mother. Her
Got
name
it.
is Dalida.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And then, so we have that side of the business.
Okay.
And then we have the storefront. So we have our shop, which is where you can get all of the small, beautiful, sustainable objects that we sell.
And that's where most visitors to Sonoma will know you for your retail storefront.
Yes.
Which is next to Sai?
Yes. Next to Tosca Tosca.
Oh, that's a fantastic place.
But we have really great neighbors.
Yeah, Tosca Tosca, Sai, and then the Outdoora pizza / outdoor furniture stuff. Kitchen stuff.
Barbecues. Yes, all the things you need to be outside.
So you're on, what street is that on?
We're on West Napa.
West Napa. Yeah. And just so people understand, we have a street called Napa Street, which doesn't really go to Napa.
No.
There's also a Napa Road,
Yeah.
which will eventually go to Napa. There's also a Spain Street, does not go to Spain. Denmark Street does not go to Denmark.
Although that would be fun, wouldn't it?
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
You just kind of go off the
straight to Spain.
Right there. And then you eat like little Spanish, whatever they eat.
Tapas.
Right?
Yes.
And then on the plancha. I'm just going to throw out random Spanish words because I don't actually know what they eat in Spain. They eat tortillas, but they're not tortillas like Mexican tortillas.
No, they eat like frittatas,
Yeah.
and sangria is Spanish.
Oh.
Right?
Really?
Yes.
I think we should get the Spanish consul in here to bring us food.
Yeah.
Next podcast when the
Brilliant.
very special guest star comes in. So Jenne, you got this retail shop, and I'm assuming just quickly that none of the fourth graders come into your store and fidget around because they mainly go to the plaza and the Mission.
That's true. Although they would be more than welcome to come fidget around. My children actually come in and help in the shop
that's
sometimes.
great.
Yeah, I pay them to sticker the inventory, and
they got small
they
hands.
love it. They do, and they love it.
Remember, it's not child labor if it's family.
I do pay them $1
good.
an hour, so they're being paid.
It's legit. It's legit. Okay, so I interrupted you that you have a retail store that people can go to, and then I also think you have a showroom where you offer design, kind of design services.
Yes, we have a showroom. It's a furniture showroom, and it's across from the Red Grape was our original location.
Okay.
And that space is where we have our larger furniture pieces. So that's where you can go and really get creative about the exact rug you want, all of the colors, the different styles of furniture that we carry. You can pick your fabrics. And so we work a lot with clients here in town who are looking for something really specific. And that's where we go. So we get to get kind of messy and, get designing
kind of customized stuff. And that's more, so you're not going to leave there with like immediate gratification of something in a bag. That's if you're going like, I want to look and redesign my room.
Yes.
Or I want to design a house.
Yes.
You can offer those services.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly it. So the shop is where you get to take something away. So we have our quick ship items there. We have our chairs that are available in stock. If you need something right away, you can go to the shop, and our dining room tables are all available within a couple weeks. So it's really, really fast. But if you want something really special, that perfect size for the space, go to the showroom. And Diane is the person, Diane Portello. She's been here in the Valley for 20 plus years.
Okay.
She's fantastic. So she really heads that program.
How did you get into this business?
Kind of by accident, which I think happens a lot, right, to people?
I think it does. I think that's like 99% of the people in any business I've spoken to, like, I kind of fell into it, except for like the surgeons, they go to school.
That's
I didn't
true.
know that.
That's very intentional. Yeah.
It's
Thank
intentional.
goodness. Actually, we're very grateful for that. Yeah.
Good job, surgeons. But how did you end up doing this?
So I was originally going to be an environmental lawyer. So that was my career path out of college. And at some point during the LSAT application to law school process, I had this epiphany and realized I might not be the right thing for me. And so I pulled the ripcord.
Right.
And I pivoted and went to interior design school. And I called my father and I said, I'm really sorry, but I'm going to be a poor, starving artist. I really just want to be a designer. And
how do you take that?
He cried a little bit, and then
he wept.
He's fine with it now. At the time, he was a little concerned.
Like, all the tuition you were gonna take on Exxon, and then undergrad in something that's lawyerly.
Lawyerly, English and business.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
You know what happens if you major in English, right?
You become an English professor.
You end up on a podcast.
Look
there you
at
go.
us. Yes.
There we go. There's hope for me, and I can become an interior designer. No, there's not. I can't do that. So you went to interior design school.
I did. I went to school.
Studied like the design and theory and things like that.
Yeah, I went to, it was interior architecture, and I studied at the Academy of Art here in San Francisco.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Wait, where are you from?
I'm from Marin.
Oh, so you're local.
Yeah.
You grew up here. Ended up going to Marin, being North Bay. Okay.
Yep.
And then went to the school in San Francisco. Did you go to undergrad in San Francisco?
I went to school, I went to UCLA.
Okay.
So I was down in LA, and then I left there and I went to Colorado, and I did like a winter ski away before grad school.
A gap year, or what do they call it? Go find yourself.
Yeah. My gap year ended up being about eight gap years.
I have a nephew doing that right now.
Really?
He does ski rescue in Colorado.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and he was doing environmental things there. And like he learned that he makes pretty good money being a ski rescue guy and just an outdoorsy guy in his 20s in Colorado. He loves it.
And he loves it.
Oh, he totally loves it.
Yeah, it's a great lifestyle. I know a lot of people who stayed. I actually met my husband, Adam, in Vail.
Is he a Coloradoan?
He's from Michigan. He's a Michigander.
Okay.
He's the Mitten.
He's from the Mitten.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not from the UP. He's a troll. He's from down below.
He's from down below. He's from Grand Rapids, which is like the furniture capital of...
It is?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, so Herman Miller is based in Grand
Rapids.
The
fancy chairs?
Yes. So...
I did not know that.
Yeah.
You know, I lived in Milwaukee for a long time, and one of the society wags, a reporter I worked with who covered the wealthy families, he said in the Midwest, they don't put, the old money does not put their dollars in fancy art or cars. It's in sturdy furniture that can be passed down for generations. And I thought he was joking. We went to some beautiful houses in the North Shore region of Milwaukee, these beautiful handcrafted furniture like this, very Germanic influence there. But I think maybe there's something to the Midwestern crafts and building things.
Yes, absolutely. So there's a big foundation for architecture and design and craft in the Midwest. You're absolutely right.
And wine made from really sweet cherries. But that's a whole other thing. So you met your husband there in Colorado, and you guys ended up back here in California.
Came back here to finish school. And then I finished school at a really fantastic time. It was 2009.
Oh, yeah. Everything was going up and up, man.
I mean, opportunities were just knocking on my door.
People were like, you know what? This house is only going up. Let's redesign.
Yeah, I have so much disposable income. Why don't you come in and help me spend it?
So you, how many food trucks did you end up redesigning?
Oh, my gosh.
What did you do with the design thing in 2009? You graduated in the middle of one of the biggest recessionary housing flops around.
Yes. Yep.
Well done.
It was a little depressing.
Yeah.
And so I ended up getting a job for a very small period of time at a place called Lim, which was one of the original importers of contemporary modern furniture from Europe and Italy. And they ended up going under about 6 months after I started.
Oh, no.
But
no correlation and causation there.
It wasn't because of me. It was.
We make one bad hire.
I always showed up. No, right? Could you imagine?
We fail.
We lasted for 35 years, and then we bring this girl
this
in.
Kid didn't know anything. All right, so you went out on a limb. Okay, thank you.
I like it.
And that didn't, 6 months later.
So 6 months later, Lim went under. But in that 6 months, I learned so much about contemporary furniture. And it was a wonderland. I mean, if you've ever went to Lim, it was just this amazing place with beautiful furniture and art. And it was like, signature one-of-a-kind pieces like in corners of this huge, massive warehouse. It was just like a fun house for design.
Okay.
And so when I left, involuntarily left Lim, nobody was hiring, believe it or not. And so I'm not really good at just kind of sitting around. Okay. So I started JAK W, and I thought I might as well just start a company.
So your recession started business.
Yes.
Good for you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Was your initial thing going to be design for other people, or were you going to sell like just neat little object art, or what was your what were you going to do?
Well, so I kind of did everything at that point. I would take any job that came. So I had one interior design project. I was working on helping somebody redesign her bedroom. It's really small. I was reselling furniture for people. So some people had furniture that they were trying to get rid of. So we would resell furniture. I mean, it was really kind of a mix of things. And then I also started selling brand new furniture from some of the lines that used to be sold at Lim to interior designers.
Okay.
So Tim, I would walk into these architecture firms and I would set up an appointment with someone and I'd say, okay, I'll be there in 2 weeks and I'll show you what we have that's new. And I would walk in with all of my samples and the office would be empty. And there would be like a secretary handing out dishes and trying to get me to take coffee cups. She was giving things away. She was like, just take it. We're going to donate it. So just take whatever you can.
So, I mean, those were weird times. I don't think people know.
Very weird.
I mean, people obviously who are listening to this probably do, but the younger people, like us, my kids are teenagers. And my son watched The Big Short, that movie about the housing crisis and what happened. And he said, Dad, do you know about this? I'm like, son, I lived through it and in the tourism business. What the? Yes.
It
was awful.
Ingrained in my brain. I will never forget.
It was terrible. But people, especially when businesses were downsizing and going under, you could buy desks and chairs and people were they were defaulting on storage for like storing this stuff.
Yes.
So why would I pay money for that?
Exactly. They were giving it away.
That's insane.
I mean, giving it away.
Wow.
So to sell furniture was very, very hard.
Yeah.
Luckily, San Francisco recovered, I think, maybe quicker than some of the other industries.
It did.
And so it was an exciting time to be in it because then we started to build JAK W into what we wanted it to be.
Okay.
And so we started really focusing on sustainable brands because for me, being, wanting to do environmental law, I had this passion for sustainability, but I had a conflict with consumerism, right? And so what I had to accept is that people are always going to need new things. You're always going to need a new chair.
Things wear out.
Things wear out.
Right.
So once I accepted that, then I said, okay, well, then I'm only going to promote and sell product that is ethically and sustainably made and use my resources as a platform to talk about it because there are amazing makers out there who are consciously making products without toxic glues, without chemicals, and really being open about what they're using as resources. Okay. And it's fantastic to support these people because they need our support, right?
That is good. Let me ask you that if you're buying something like that, though, because, and again, people who are watching this on YouTube have probably caught on that I'm not big into fashion, but I'm into pragmatism, so very practical things. But if something like fast fashion, I heard, is like bad for the environment, right?
Yes.
Like the shirt, we're going to wear it for like 4 times and get rid of it. That's horrible.
Right.
Bad environmentally, blah, blah, blah. Do you look for designs and things that will be more timeless so people can hold on to them a long time, or also designs that kind of represent, let's say you like this period, but you're going to have it for 40 years.
Yeah.
Is that what you're looking for when people are coming to you for like, I want to buy a table or a chair or something?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. That is a big part of it. So part of it is the design. Is it classic? Part of it is the fabrication. So a lot of the manufacturers that we work with have laser cut, zip covered upholstery. So when you look at it, it looks like a typical upholstered sofa, but it's actually steel inside with foam that's been injection molded. So there's no waste in the production of it.
Interesting.
Very little waste. And then there's a slip cover that basically Velcros to the bottom of it. So in 10 years, you take the cover off, you put a new cover on, and there isn't any waste with like rebatting it and taking out the springs, and it's incredible. And then the cost is so low, so you're investing in something once, and then you can use it for decades.
Like lifetime.
Yeah.
And maybe kids or they would go off to college and they get their own apartment, you have a good piece of furniture that'll last forever.
Totally.
Interesting.
Upgrade the fabric, upgrade it with trends.
Okay.
Yeah. So we look for ways that manufacturers are not just using raw materials that are sustainable, but also how they're creating product that we can use for a long period of time.
Okay.
And then what do we do at the end of it? You're using non-toxic foam so that you can biodegrade the sofa. Because at some point it will need to be destroyed.
I've got in my garage a bunch of stuff. I have no idea how to get rid of it. It's like the foam. It's like some hospital grade foam stuff for a bed or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know how to get rid of this stuff.
Super common.
It's weird,
That's very common.
We don't think about the life cycle of a product, that it doesn't end as soon as you buy it. You've got the whole, what's going to happen afterwards.
Totally.
And they figured it out for like TVs, you have a recycling fee, and some things you have a recycling fee, but then you get to certain points. What do I do with this thing?
Exactly.
Wow, that's interesting.
Exactly. And what do you do with a sofa? I mean, it's so big.
It's hard to compost a sofa.
Yes, it is. It would take a long time in your backyard.
Although the frat guys
Just
light on
my
fire.
Ruby, can I cut it into pieces and drop it in one day at a time?
The worms would just eat a little bit. Well, let me kind of ask you about, because you're doing design and stuff, but you're in California, in Sonoma. Does JAK W present things that are kind of, people say it's like a wine country style or a California style. Is there a certain style that you look at, and does that reflect Sonoma, or is it different than Sonoma? And I'm now at the end of all the words I know how to use about design.
Yes. Okay, so we have makers that make things that might feel a little bit more urban. And so we present the pieces that we feel like are part of the Sonoma aesthetic.
Okay.
And that's hard, right? Like everybody has a different aesthetic style. We love colors, so we always infuse little bits of color into the pieces that we sell. But we focus on local makers, so we use a lot of local designers. We have a local jewelry maker, Samuel Walensky. We have a jewelry designer from Oakland. So we have Nicole's Pottery in our shop. So we try and focus on local makers in addition to the European. And then we have, we focus on trying to make it a part of the lifestyle. So some of the small objects that we have are celebrating things right now that are happening in Sonoma, like the introduction of the farmer's market. It's back. So we have this whole picnic basket. It's like a wine, and you get your blanket.
Oh, really?
And yes, you get your biodegradable plates that are really beautiful. And yes, so aesthetically, it's contemporary, but it's still sustainable, and you can use it in Sonoma to go have fun. So
on the Tuesday night market.
Yes.
Which is the best party in Sonoma.
The best party.
It's amazing. And there's also vegetables. But it's
where?
So behind the corn dog guy, whatever. So I didn't know that. Okay, that's a good point, because I just bring that up because I know things like the Yellowstone TV show is big right now. It's like a cultural touch point, and so people are like into that Western look, right? And then in the '80s, Miami Vice was big, so there was like that Miami Vice look. And I'm having a hard time pinning down what is like a wine country look, other than like Spanish style arches, olive trees, general Mediterranean. And I don't know, again, if there's a special look that encapsulates, Northern California.
Yeah. Okay. So to me, Northern California is comfort.
Okay.
So when I think about the interior of Northern California space, to me, it's about being able to sit down on a comfortable sofa, cross your legs. I want fabrics and textiles that are soft and cozy, that feel good, right? Like there's this kind of natural, relaxed vibe in Northern California.
Yeah, not like a suit, tie. Right.
Like when I think of Miami, I think of like chrome and leathers and bright colors, and then when you think of the Southwest, you think of like all of the kind of caramelly colors, and you think of the desert and the turquoise, right? So all of that comes
kind
through.
Of Georgia O'Keeffe look.
Exactly. And then when I think of Northern California, I think of like lots of olive greens and soft whites and creams and blacks, and it's classic, but it's comfortable, right? And then you can layer on top of it. But I think people come here to disengage.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because people don't come here to see and be seen. So Conan O'Brien was here last week. We were kind of talking about this in the last podcast, but no one really knew about it or made a big deal about it. It was like, oh yeah, Conan's at the Red Grape, so he's right down the street from you guys, and it's sort of like this very tranquilo, mellow, whatever, man. Northern California,
it's low key.
We're low key.
We're very low key, and I think that's part of what I love about representing the brands that we do, because there isn't anything flashy about it.
Okay,
it's well made. If you know quality, if you know texture, if you know materials, you can see that the stitching details are there. these are linens that you can throw in the wash. Like it's practical.
Okay.
So, but that's part of living, right? Like
Right.
life is supposed to be, you're supposed to enjoy the things that you have. So nothing that we sell is delicate. And I think that's part of the Northern California ethos. Like we're not looking to splash the brands that we have. We're looking to just like live in quiet luxury.
No, you're absolutely right. I think, you walked into the podcast today with your own water bottle with water in it because that's kind of how we roll. We're like,
Yes.
we're not going to bring like plastic or something like that.
Exactly.
We're going to be ready for it. And I think it's a smart way to do it.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, since you're near the plaza and you live in Sonoma now or near Sonoma now, when you aren't at JAK W, where are places that you like to go to eat or to go shopping or where, if someone says, hey, Jenny, I'm coming up for the weekend.
Yes.
Where should
do
we
you
go?
have to go?
Where do you have to go?
Okay, so I have 2 kids. So if you have kids, Sweet Scoops is the best.
I love it.
I love Sweet Scoops. They are so nice. They have the best ice cream. So we always hit up Sweet Scoops. Valley, they are fantastic. The Beacon, that bar upstairs.
Yeah, good bar. So they can go out of your door, go to the left, and go
straight up to the Beacon.
Right there.
And I'm so glad that they're back because I missed them for.
It's, a good bar. So we have good bars in the sense of like, I've talked about Steiner's before, which is a bar that smells like a bar, but a good cocktail bar.
Yes.
Beacon.
The
Fantastic.
Beacon.
Yeah.
The Beacon, and then Layla, which is a little bit off the beaten path, but that's a great cocktail bar
it's
too.
at the MacArthur Place Hotel.
Yes.
And you can easy get there, walk or ride your bike, and not far away.
Totally.
But you don't take your kids to Layla though, right?
No.
You know why?
I have not.
They always say about kids that you shouldn't ask your kids to make you a martini because it's unseemly and they use too much vermouth. Don't you know that joke? No. So maybe no kids at the Beacon or at Layla, but Sweet Scoops. And if you go in the afternoon, I get the affogato because it's ice cream with espresso on it.
Oh,
which I love.
yes. If you're going to go wine tasting, I love Three Sticks.
Okay, good.
Autour is fantastic
Good,
as
good
well.
Pinot Noir, yeah.
Yep, they have great Pinot Noir.
Film kind of history.
We actually did, we redesigned their front area. So
you did?
if you go in there and
Okay.
you see all of the beautiful wallpaper, that was us.
That's you guys.
It's a really
and they're
fun
just
project.
north of Girl and the Fig on First Street West. So if you're heading that way, where the dog park is,
Yep.
you see Autour is in a historic home. And there's a couple wineries like that they have around the plaza that were houses, and now they're wine tasting rooms, and they're beautiful salons. So you kind of sit down there. So
It's very charming.
It's a good spot.
Yeah, it's sweet.
I got to ask, do you ever go to like any of the art stuff around here, like the museum or something like
yeah.
that? Or 'cause we have the Sonoma Valley Museum of Art. Okay, I'm going to do a shameless plug. I'm going to do, there is a new exhibit there called Labyrinth of Forms, Women in Abstraction. And it's women that were involved in the abstraction of art from 1930 to 1950. It's organized by the Whitney Museum of American Art in New York. Is going to be at the Sonoma Valley Museum of Art.
Amazing.
So it's kind of weird how we have culture that is from much bigger places in a town of 8,000 people, right? Like we do punch a little higher for our weight.
We
in
do.
the arts, yeah.
We do. I am oftentimes very impressed by some of the programs that are coming here. Like the film festival that came through every year is really well produced.
Good one. It's like having, that is weird that you're, again, small town, all these world-class films come by. And then people who are, big names come, and you're just sitting there at Sweet Scoops. You're eating ice cream. You're like, I think I saw
Eating
that
your
guy in a
Watma
movie.
strawberry ice
Oh,
cream.
the Watma strawberry. Watma strawberries are open right now. So there is, everyone knows there's a strawberry farm on Watma Road, appropriately called Watma Strawberry. And it's sort of like first come, first serve. You go up there in the morning when they open, and they only have what they have, and then they're gone. And the strawberries are not the huge ones you see in the grocery stores. They are these small, delicious.
They're like real strawberries.
They're real strawberries. The big ones are bred to be big.
Right.
And it's like a scientist at UC Davis that clones it or something like that. But the ones at Watma Strawberry are really, really good. And you've got to go early. And I heard, because we had a slightly wet winter, that they probably won't have as many.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, good tip.
Get
Thank
there-
you for that.
Get there early, folks.
Yes.
Get there early. Your friends are coming from out of town. Jenny, where else do you take them as far as, are you allowed to say other places to shop on the plaza?
Oh,
Any
yes.
places?
Yes. I love supporting other people on the plaza. So Perle, love Erica.
Good clothing.
She's great.
Yeah.
I would absolutely go check out Chateau Sonoma.
Yep.
They always have beautiful finds
They do.
there.
Kind of French inspired.
Yeah.
She's having her flea market, or she got the Pousse, is coming up. And the owner, Sarah Anderson, she is a very shy guitar player.
She
showed up at an open mic recently and just started playing guitar. And everyone's like, "What do you?" I guess she taught herself guitar or something. I mean, what else did you do during COVID? Right? So Chateau Sonoma is very beautiful for kind of French country inspired stuff. And also, I shouldn't just call it smelly stuff, but it's like smelly stuff. It smells good. They have lotions and parfums,
yes, totally,
and things like that, and a neat outdoor patio back there.
So great. Tiddlywinks is so fun. If you want like a good laugh, you have to go over to Tiddlywinks.
Yeah.
And then Halem. We love shopping at Halem.
Oh, yeah, good.
All of their estate jewelry is so beautiful. That's another sustainable.
Really nice jewelry there. And you say estate jewelry. Can you explain what that means?
So estate jewelry is jewelry that was once owned by somebody else, so it hasn't been produced. It's not new. I mean, it has been produced, but it's used jewelry,
but it's
right?
Vintage.
It's vintage. Thank you.
Yeah,
that's a nice. So I have a lot of vintage jewelry from Halem, and
you do?
always,
cool.
I do, and I really love it.
And it's on First Street East. You can walk right past it in the building or next to the. I think it used to be Mission Hardware. I can't remember if it's the same storefront or not, but it's on the corner or just off the corner, and they have really good stuff over there. So you just did a whole great shopping thing.
I did a whole loop.
And then I always tell people, if they always come to us and they say, we want a hat that says Sonoma on it. In the visitor center, we don't have them. I mean, because carrying inventory is difficult. You're probably good at it because you're a retailer in one regard.
It's still hard.
I'm a visitor center and bad at it. So I say, why don't you go support our retailers who know how to do it? And actually the Barracks gift store, if you need something that says Sonoma on it or California, they have the hats and the swag and the Californiana that you need. And I always send people that way because some people, you still want a hat. You're just like, well, you're going back to Grand Rapids. And it's probably still snowing. So you want your, your hat there.
Your hat.
And you got it there. Another thing, places to go eat, Jenny.
Okay. So I said Valley.
Yeah.
It's a must.
Good spot.
It's fantastic. Oso's great.
Yeah.
They have a beautiful patio out back, so that's around the corner. I love getting oysters at EDK. It's a classic.
Yeah.
You sit outside on that patio, oysters on a Friday with a little champagne.
That's right.
Maybe a martini.
You can kind of watch
feeling
people.
Saucy. Yeah.
And the El Dorado Kitchen, which is there on First Street in Spain.
Exactly.
And that is a good one. I always forget about oysters, but then when I get them, I love them.
Oh, they're the best.
I know.
Especially in the summer.
Yeah. It's kind of like hot out, cold oysters on ice, a little bit of salt. Salt and Stone up in Kenwood has good oysters too. You can eat them outside and look up at the mountain.
Oh my gosh, Salt and Stone
is a good spot.
That's fantastic.
I know, it's up there in Kenwood, and it's always busy.
Worth the drive.
It is. It's fantastic. The wineries nearby include like Deerfield, St. Francis, VJB. All of them are up there.
Halem's on the way, right?
It is on the way. There's many choices to go on your way up there.
Yes.
And that is a good one. See, you could be a tour guide.
I need something else to do, so I'll.
Between the kids and the shops. Well, I think you've got a lodging business as well.
We do.
Tell me about that.
So JAK W is multifaceted. So we have two casitas that are based over in the Springs. They are right next to El Molino. So if you're at El Molino and you're having an amazing quesadilla or fish tacos, look up the hill and you'll see a white building with a black steel roof, just kitty corner from it. That's us.
Okay.
So we're walking distance to the Sonoma Mission Inn.
Right.
And the El Molino and the Barking Dog.
And speaking of Barking Dog, Sonoma Magazine just had their best new restaurants come out. And one of them, speaking of Barking Dog, was Sonoma Eats, which is inside the Barking Dog. It's Mexican food, fantastic. Efrain and Haley are there. And they were listed as one of the best new restaurants in Sonoma. So if they stay at the JAK W Casitas in the Springs, and for people who don't know, the Springs are actually three communities, Boys Hot Springs, Fedder's Hot Springs, and Agua Caliente, that were formerly a resort area. And we had a woman here named Patricia Cullinan talking about that. There were a bunch of resorts in the valley there where people would come up and take the waters. So sometimes it gets overlooked by the Sonoma Plaza area, which is more concentration of commercial stuff, and then Glen Ellen and Kenwood, which are the rural splendor, right? Vineyards in Glen Ellen and Kenwood. But the Springs is very vibrant, a lot of immigrant community, a lot of generations of people living there, fun spot, and I think the food scene there is really popping.
Totally.
Right? I mean, you got we mentioned. El Molino, Sonoma Eats. You got the Fairmont. They have a California food truck, which they're doing outside there now. You go there, get cocktails and things like that.
Spread
is good. Yeah, the Lebanese food is really good. Kina's Kitchen is at the southern end of there, which they also make their own, not tequila. I always mix this up as agave. So it's the tequila,
mezcal?
but not tequila. Mezcal. Thank you. Thank you. That's the word. And there's like basically a mile. You could eat everything. And it'd be wonderful. And then just like fall into bed at the JAK W Casitas.
Totally. Hit a food truck before you go to bed.
Yeah.
The food trucks are my favorite
Yeah, it's
thing
good
about
over
the
there.
Springs.
Yeah.
There are some great food trucks.
Yes.
So yeah, it's such a wonderful community. We used to live over there, and when we bought this house, it had been abandoned for at least a decade or so.
Okay.
So vines were crawling through the walls, but it had been built pre-1900.
Okay.
And it has a very rich history there in the Springs. So the Borough family used to own a huge portion of the Springs, and they had families and cousins, and they all owned different houses.
Oh, interesting.
Within these kind of like 3 or 4 blocks where the Casitas is.
Okay.
And so they used to have these family picnics on Sunday nights. They said it would be like a dinner, and they would run 7 or 8 long picnic tables, folding tables down the driveways, and all the cousins would come up from San Francisco. And so when we bought the house, we kept the house as it was, and we just updated it. So
You took the vines out?
Took the vines out.
Okay.
We love greenery, but it was a bit much. It was a bit much.
This is supposed to be a living room.
Little shop of horrors is not necessarily relaxing on vacation.
Okay, good.
So everything in there is sustainable. So we have radiant floor heat. We've updated everything. We're dropping in a container pool that we're working on right now. So
Wait. It's a pool inside of a container thing?
it's a shipping container that has been converted into a pool.
Huh.
And we're going to put it at the back of the Casitas.
That's cool.
Hopefully this summer.
Okay.
So we're working on permits right now.
Okay.
They're made in, it's a Canadian company. They're made in Texas. It's a very sustainable way to make pools because it's all the equipment is contained within the pool. So you don't have to bring in mud or, all of the other kind of fittings that go into
It literally fits in the container, the pumps, the heaters.
Everything. They take a shipping container and they outfit it as a pool.
Wow. Okay.
It's fantastic, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, one of my favorite things about the Casitas is that it's a shoppable experience.
Right.
So everything in there is sold through our store.
Got it.
So if you like the blanket, you like the silverware, you can have it.
You can't steal it like you do at the the Motel 6 where you like the towels, but you have the chance to buy it.
I would suggest you buy a new one rather than steal it.
Exactly, especially if it's Motel 6. Motel 6 corporate, we're not impugning your good name. No. But if they stay at the JAK W Casitas and they like the look and the design,
or
if you don't like the specific thing but you like the general feel for it, they can hire you guys to come into their house and help you recreate that, right?
Sure.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Are you ready, Jenny, for the not the most exciting part of the podcast, but an important part of the podcast?
I think so. Okay. I'm not sure what I'm saying yes to, though. I'm nervous.
This is where you're gonna help us answer questions that we get from people. We have 2 visitor centers, one at the Plaza, one at Vianza Winery. People come up, they ask us questions all the time. Our job is to help them do stuff here in Sonoma. They also email us and they text us and they Facebook us and they Instagram us because, communication's gotten so much easier as we've made it more diffuse.
Yes.
They send us letters. We haven't gotten a fax in a long time, but we still have a fax machine. Okay, so we call this We Get Questions.
Okay.
Here we go. Question we got this week.
Okay.
We are visiting from Singapore. And they were here from Singapore and would like to get from Sonoma to San Francisco Airport. Which train do we take to get there?
The imaginary train.
Wait. There's no train. This is not like Singapore? We don't have the MRT running around?
I wish we had a train. If I could change anything about the Bay Area, it would be more trains.
More trains. We certainly thought back in the 50s and 60s when they were building BART, we're like, there's no way this is going to grow. It's going to be prune fields and vineyards and almonds and walnuts forever.
I know. So there are a couple good. Okay, so you do have some options if you want to do public transportation, but it's a bit trains, planes, and automobiles.
Is it? Okay.
A bit. So we have the train that goes from Petaluma down to San Rafael.
Correct.
Right? Great trains.
Yep.
Really fun, beautiful, new. And then you can take the ferry across to the Embarcadero. And then you can take a train from there.
Right.
From BART. So you can
go from Sonoma to Petaluma.
But you just have to get a ride to Petaluma.
Right. So that's pretty
super easy.
A piece of cake.
Straightforward.
It's just 20 minutes away.
Very relaxing. Perfect way to end your vacation.
It's like 25 modes of transportation. Okay, so yeah, you're right. That one's hard to take a train. And you did a good job there.
Thank
The
you.
Smart Train does go up and down the 101 corridor, as they call it, and it does go to Larkspur where you can hop on a ferry.
Yes.
But you have to get to Petaluma. So here's a challenge with Sonoma. Sonoma is kind of a cul-de-sac geographically. We have a bunch of mountains. We have a bay. We're not on a major transportation hub. There are rails that go by. They're just not active right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what I would answer to these people is, your best bet is to arrange a taxi.
Mm-hmm.
It literally is. The best way, taxi, Uber, Lyft, whatever you choose, you could do that. If you don't want to do that, you could take the bus from Sonoma. We have the bus from the plaza to Petaluma, and then you get off the fairgrounds, and then you could take what's called the Sonoma County Airport Express, which is a special bus that goes up and down to the airport like every half an hour, 20 minutes.
It drops you off right
in front
of the terminal,
right in front of the airport.
which is great.
It's very easy.
Yeah.
And that's probably the best way to do it. Singapore, I don't know if you've been, it's an island nation in Southeast Asia. It's highly urbanized, great transportation. Not so good a wine country.
Oh, well, I love a city with good transportation.
It's amazing.
It is.
Their transportation's amazing. So when they told me this, I started laughing. I'm
I was like, oh, shoot.
dear.
Oh, well.
I told them to come back in 50 years. But yeah, so that's the answer. Good job. You're
Thank
hired
you.
on that one.
Thank you.
We had a couple from India. It's like International Day today. And they asked, what's a good place for vegetarian dining options?
Okay. So I would say that, everybody on the plaza has really great vegetarian options. So,
This is California.
Right. So everybody's, offering gluten-free options. They're being very thoughtful about the diet. I really like Bangkok 9.
Okay.
They
good.
have some great dining options. It's near Whole Foods. I know it's not,
No,
right on,
people
but
go
it's
there.
a little.
That's an easy walk. It's 2 blocks away from the plaza. It's not far from your shop.
No, it's great.
After you go to JAK W.
Of course. You have to go to JAK
Keep
W
walking.
first. Yes.
Take a left at 7-Eleven and go into the Whole Foods marketplace.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So Bangkok 9.
Okay. So Bangkok 9.
That's a great option.
I think Oso is great.
Good.
Maya actually has some really great options
Yeah, good.
too.
Which is a Mexican restaurant.
Yes.
And they do. And I mentioned that to them. I said, here's the deal. We do actually have 2 Indian restaurants. Well, one's Indian, one's Nepalese that you can go to. But I said, you came from India. Why? Right. And so I mentioned everything around. And I said, hey, you know what? I don't know how much. I'm sure they have pizza, of course, in India. India's a massive country. But I said, we do have Mary's Pizza. And if you're in a hurry, if you only have an hour. So some people are only here for a very short time. You just get cheese pizza there. It's classic. It's not any wine country fabulous kind of thing, but it's like if you're bringing your kids someplace, you can do it. I also mentioned Sunflower Cafe, which has a lot of good options there.
Oh, they
Or
have
you
so
can
many
smoothie
great
if
options.
you want. So,
Yeah.
But that's a smart one, the Bangkok one. That's a good one. Yeah, over there in Whole Foods. Good. I never would have thought of that one. Okay, this one comes over social media. You ready?
Yes.
I'm going to try to read it in a social media kind of way. Okay. I am so excited to celebrate my 40th birthday B-Day in Sonoma this September. Does anyone have recommendations for transportation for a group of 8 around Sonoma and or Napa? I am in talks with a bunch of people, but hard to know if they are reputable and safe for a group of 8 women. So that's a good question.
That's a great question.
So obviously this 39-year-old, we're assuming, because it's 40th birthday.
Yes.
In
That's a good
September.
that's a safe assumption.
That's a safe assumption.
Safe,
And
yes.
September is like, what, it was like Virgos or something? I have no idea.
I'm a September. Yeah, it's a Virgo.
Is it really?
Yeah. That was good.
I had like a 1 out of 12 chance.
Very impressed.
And I knew not Gemini. That's me, so I had a better chance. Okay. So, transportation for like a tour.
I love Bohemian Highway.
Okay, good. Tell me about them.
Bohemian Highway is really great. They have beautiful cars that they'll take you around in. They're very, very versed in options. So if you don't know where you want to go, they can create a tour for you. So they really do all of the
Because
heavy
you don't
lifting.
have to, the beauty of using a tour company, you don't have to know everything.
No, you
You're
could
paying
just
for their expertise.
Exactly. You could tell them, I love architecture, or I want beautiful outdoor spaces to picnic, or I would like to stop at a picnic, or maybe I don't want to just do wine tasting, but I also want to do something else in addition. Because there's only so much wine you can drink. At some point, you kind of
Wait
you
a
need
minute.
break.
You're fired. Wait a minute.
you need a palate
you're right.
cleanser,
You do.
and
You're
it
right.
might come in the form of like a nature walk, or I
Right.
don't. So I mean, maybe not on a 40th birthday, but
No, you're
it's
absolutely
something
right.
else.
You're absolutely right.
Maybe you want to go shopping.
Yeah.
Bohemian Highway can
Okay.
give you all of the recommendations. I love them, and they're local, so I would say
ones.
that would be my choice.
Good. And then we also say like, if you have a bigger group, because Bohemian Highway uses Range Rovers or
Yep,
something.
they
Land
use Range
Rovers.
Rovers.
So they're not that big of a space. So I don't hate people, maybe, but if not, you can do 2. But there's other companies like Pure Luxury, California Wine Tours, Incredible Adventures out of San Francisco. Sonoma Adventures here can do vans. They do bike tours, which is good. there are a lot of choices. I told them to go to sonomavalley.com and just click on our transportation. Almost any company, I mean, I'm not going to say everything's 100% perfect, and we don't like do deep background checks, but anybody on our website does have to have a PUC license. So you have to be licensed by the state and be legit, because there are plenty of people who are like, I'll drive your car. And you might not want it. You might want to stick with the regular people.
If you're coming out, you want to have a good experience.
Exactly. And people who know what they're doing.
Yes.
So plenty of chances. But there's also, again, if you don't want to drive, there are the bike tours, and there's even like the scooter tours.
Oh yeah, well
there's a trolley.
Yep.
You've seen this. I'm going to get you on a scooter. I'm going to get you on a scooter.
Fun fact: my mom has a scooter.
Does she have one of those?
Yeah, she
does.
does.
Those e-trikes?
Yes, she does. Yep.
Okay.
She scoots over. So yeah.
So there's a guy that bought one. So there's a guy, Pushpock Motors. He sells these little scooters. He does tours on them. Someone bought one from him and made it into like a horse. Have you seen this guy? Yeah, he puts a horse head on the front. This is a very Sonoma thing. And a tail. And then there's a button that makes like a...
Oh, I really want to see this guy.
Well, you do and you don't, because one day he decided to go around like for an hour around the plaza and just kept doing the sound outside my window. And the first time I thought, that's funny. And by like the 15th time, I'm like, this is not funny.
Wow. That's probably the one time that I've felt grateful to not be on the plaza.
Exactly.
Yes.
Just about there. Just about there. So, all right, that's good. So this woman, when she comes out here for her 40th birthday, can get a lot of different options, and Bohemian's a good one to...
And I love that, just as a plug, you're being thoughtful about not driving. You're going to have so much fun and be safe. I love it. Good for you.
And that's smart. And that's also... for people who do come to visit the plaza area, you can walk around and do tasting and then go someplace else. Same with, actually, if you're staying in a lot of places, you don't have to drive. You shouldn't drive if you're drinking. Get a designated driver. Hop on a tour. Hop on the wine trolley. If it's your first time, you're not really into wine, you don't know what you're doing, there's the Sonoma Valley wine trolley at least at 10 o'clock every day. And tasting fees aren't included. There's a reason for that. If you don't drink, you shouldn't be paying for the wine tasting. You can just go and enjoy the picnics and stuff like
Beautiful
that.
scenery.
And see it out and do it. Yeah. So that's also a good introduction. And I learn people who take that tour see stuff they want to go back to later. So it's a good way to do it. Someone walked up today and asked me this question. What are the current trends and colors for design? What are the odds? I'm just sitting there.
What are the odds? That is amazing.
Yeah, it's weird.
That happens to me all the time. The time.
I'm sure.
Yes.
They're like, Jenny, what's the Pantone color of the year? So what are some of the current trends and colors for design?
So what's interesting is the past couple of years, Pantone, they always come out with their color of the year. So we had navy.
Okay.
We had like pink. It was almost like a bubblegum pink fuchsia. So when it comes to trends, this is where I start to shy away from the trend.
Okay.
Because I actually think that a really beautiful neutral interior with like pops of color that you can then update is the way to go. Okay. So, if you were to say like what is trending, people are really actually getting into pinks and like bright colors but I love like a neutral palette with like just little bits of like surprise and color woven in there, because it's also really easy to update. It's not expensive. You can change out a pillow in a couple years, right?
Okay. When you say neutral, what does that mean?
Neutral, like grays and creams and browns, and so you use that as your base with like little bits of pattern and texture. Okay. And then you add in like a blanket that's maybe in like a beautiful green. Actually, I've seen a lot of forest green going around that I love. Okay. So beautiful.
Okay, forest green is in.
Yeah.
Good. See? Trend. I always say one is...
You heard it here.
One is a point, 2 is a line, 3 is a trend. So as soon as you get 3 times, kids, we're on to a trend. And if you're in PR, the trend is your friend. That was just so weird. People asked me design questions at the front of the Plaza Visitor Center, but it actually was kind of weird, because last week I had musicians here and someone asked me a question about D minor. What are the odds?
I don't. It's almost like you're like vibrating the day, and people just feel it, they know.
They know now's the time. Jenny, it's been wonderful having you in here. So thanks for joining me on the podcast.
Oh, thank you.
I have a question though. If people want more information about JAK W, which is spelled like JAK W.
It's JAK W. And actually, fun fact: people call for Jack all the time.
Oh, JAK W.
I love.
Oh, and then you get on the phone like, I'm Jack.
No.
You know?
Jack's never available.
Oh, you don't say, hello, I am Jacques.
No.
Really? They call for Jack.
People call for Jack.
I guess that makes sense. If like people says, call Jack.
Yeah. Well, if it's like JAK W is the name of the company, they think that they're calling for Jack the owner. And yeah, I don't know. He never works. It's weird. I know that Jack. He's super lazy.
I know owners. You know how they are.
Never around.
I'm just a worker. What's the website if people want to find you?
Okay, so it's www.jaknoc-w.com.
Okay.
So super simple. Come to our store. We're just around the corner. Sometimes it's hard to get around the corner. People kind of stop at the Beacon, the Taub.
All right, keep going.
Keep going. Come see us.
There's champagne at Psy.
Champagne.
Just keep going.
Exactly. We'll even give you wine if you come in. Say that you heard the podcast and Jenny said, I could get a glass of wine. We'll give you a little canned wine. You can take it to go.
That's perfect. That's the way to do it.
I mean, we try to have as much fun as we can in there. It's like we are selling beautiful goods from amazing makers, and we have the nicest people that come in and the best clients. So we just, we try and keep it light.
It's good stuff.
Thank you.
JAK-W.com. And everybody, if you want more information about Sonoma Valley and all of our wonderful stores and experiences, go to sonomavalley.com. You know what? Before you leave this podcast, though, just subscribe. Just comment. Just tell everybody how great it is. Mom and Dad, thanks for listening. Jenny, thanks for being part of the podcast, and we'll see everyone later. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.